The feeling of deja vu can be pretty scary, confusing, yet a beautiful time in a person's life. A time of reflection around something that you think you've seen before, but can't quite put your finger on where you might have seen it. I experienced this yesterday playing Overwatch 2, but unlike deja vu, I know exactly where I'd seen it before. That was back in 2016 when I played Overwatch 1 for the first time. But is that necessarily a bad thing? This game's got a fair amount of stick for basically it being the exact same game as the previous one, and for it being marketed as a sequel. But the gameplay, the graphical upgrades, the new sound effects, and all of the new voice lines, to me anyway, are all extremely welcome changes. But there are some things that I don't like about this game. Modern game publishers like to retire things, or refer to fundamental and core features of any FPS or shooter game as legacy features. And I absolutely hate this. Leave your thoughts down below on Overwatch. I would love to know what you guys are thinking about it. I'm having a blast playing it right now, to be fair. I didn't gel with it too much at the start because I've not played Overwatch in a long time. But getting into it, playing with friends, I'm having a really good time. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. But without further ado, let's dive straight in. Overwatch 1 released back in 2016 as a full-priced $60 game, and it was a huge success across the gaming industry. This was around the time where the hero shooter genre of games was just the in thing, and so many games were trying to copy and take a piece of that. Even Call of Duty gave it a go with Black Ops 4 as well, with Overwatch being the 7th highest selling video game by revenue, excluding Battle.net sales by the way, in the United States for 2016. By Q1 of 2017, this game made over $1 billion in revenue. The numbers of this game and franchise itself are no joke, and this well and truly put Overwatch on the map. But it was so well deserved, because even as of September 30th, 2022, Overwatch 1 had over 9.2 million active and concurrent players monthly for that game. It was and still is such a fun shooter in people's eyes, and still has a massive fan base to try and give content to, and I'm really happy to see that it is doing well. But the release of the game has just been extremely rough, with you being stuck in server queues every time you try and log into the game. It's not only frustrating, but just a massive waste of time, because you're sat in these queues for such a long period of time. The overall performance in-game itself hasn't actually been too bad. Like, I've never had any really laggy parts or desync or anything like that to that extent, but what I have had is that when I do finally get into a game, within the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'll DC back to the menu, and I'm sat there waiting another 10-15 minutes to get back into the game and just play with my friends. Look, the issue with logging in and just generally the queue times has not been helped in the last 48 hours by, I believe there's been 2 DDoS attacks on the servers, or the Activision Blizzard servers for Overwatch 2, so the launch has been massively sabotaged by that. But still, it's not acceptable to have a launch like this. I know that it can't be helped with these external factors, but it just hasn't been a very stable or good launch for Overwatch 2. This was obviously a gold mine for Activision Blizzard, which is where the idea of an Overwatch sequel was pitched, approved, and brought to market. But it's not the sequel that everyone thought that it would turn out to be. Like, for example, going off tangent here, Halo 2 and Halo 3. It's a very similar situation in terms of there's new hardware that's in between, in terms of new consoles that these games are releasing on back in 2016, and of course now technology is massively advanced in the PC space as well. But with Halo 2 and Halo 3, there was a huge shift in graphical fidelity, the way that the engines were amended and changed to suit those games as well, the different features like Forge that came in Halo 3 and other features as well. Those games innovated between one and the other, and the community really sensed it, and you could see it visually when actually playing these games. I don't think Activision Blizzard have innovated in any way at all with Overwatch 2 so far, and I will put so far at the end of that sentence because it's the key 2 words here. But they didn't have to innovate straight away as soon as the game launched. Why, you ask? Well, this game's a live service where I can guarantee updates are going to be flying out for this game pretty much every other week, if not every month. This is going to be the Overwatch game for at least the next decade or so, I can pretty much guarantee that. And it will be supported way more than Overwatch 1, more things added faster, future innovations like a PvE mode or a campaign mode that's coming in 2023. Like, bro, this game is free. If you don't like it, don't play it. You don't need to. If you like it and you want to try it out, give it a go. It won't cost you a penny. You don't have to spend a thing. Now, yes, I don't agree with the branding of this game. I don't think this game is a sequel. This is not Overwatch 2. This should be Overwatch 1.5 or branded as just Overwatch, and just remove the last game and just rebranded it as Overwatch with all of the updated features and voice lines and whatever it is, and gone from there. And you know what? In a year or two, they may very well just get rid of the 2 and just brand it as Overwatch. One of the best games of the last 6 years has just literally been updated and re-released as a free game, with it now being constantly supported and updated as a live service. Look, I may not agree with the terminology that was used to define it as being a sequel, but it's a win-win for us, really. A game that we could only play if we brought it as of a few days ago, which was massively successful, is now completely free and is a live service. I can play whenever I want to, not spend a penny, and just get constant updates for this game. I get why people are mad, but at the same time, I don't get why people are mad. The one thing as well, just to add into the final part of this section, is that this game, you can't say that it's unfinished. You can't say this game is bare bones, because it is literally an improved version of the game everyone loved 6 years ago. But they're going to be continuously adding more to it. And I agree, this could have very simply have just been a next gen update to Overwatch 1, 100%. But that's not where the money's made, guys. Come on. We should know this by now. Overwatch 2 takes everything that Overwatch 1 did so well and just improves it, updates it, and even changes it slightly so that it seems like it is new. For example, there's over 1,000 new voice lines and improved narrative reactivity across all heroes when in combat, and over 44,000 lines of dialogue. You'll literally hear something new every single time you play. But not only this as well, sound effects in general have also been improved and revamped. The sound design for all of the heroes has also been revamped too. Updated skins and VFX across all heroes, as well as new hero animations as well. A battle pass is also there to suit the free-to-play model, and all of the free tiers are actually okay. All the free tiers are skins for your heroes. You can go through and unlock them. Granted, it takes quite a while to rank up in this game through the battle pass, and I think there's only about 80 tiers on these battle passes rather than the traditional 100. So people are going to need to play quite often to rank up this battle pass. But fundamentally though, you do feel as though you're playing the same game as Overwatch 1. However, in the midst of the feel of the game, a lot of quality of life and back-end changes have been made to Overwatch 2. Some good and some that I'm just really not a fan of. Such as changing the multiplayer games to 5v5 from 6v6. Call of Duty did this way back with Black Ops 4 when that first came out, and reverted the decision a few months later into the game's release. It slowed the play of the game down massively, and we may not see this as much in Overwatch because it does tend to be more of a faster paced objective game, but with the maps being bigger and there being less players on the map, it can have that effect, and it definitely did in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I just don't get this correlation between hero shooters and then a 5v5 lobby size. Like, why is 6v6 not good enough? Surely it'd be better, no? And also, I really don't like it when games or developers scrap conventional level progression systems for Battle Pass ranks. Halo Infinite did this, and it just really doesn't feel very rewarding trying to rank up your Battle Pass. It doesn't bother me or interest me in the slightest. Like, I want to rank to try and achieve the top of that rank, and throughout doing that, unlock things along the way. Like, I don't just want to be ranking up a battle pass. It doesn't interest me. It might for others, and fair enough if it does, but for me, it definitely doesn't give me that same motivation. But Overwatch hasn't just not implemented it, it's fully retired the feature. How have you retired a conventional progression system? Like, bro, just give me a player rank that I can see myself. No one else has to see it, but just let me look at it. So if I put 2,000 hours into this game and I'm like level 1,000, if you will, no one's going to know that I've put this amount of time in because I'm only ranking up a battle pass. Once that season's over, my rank goes back to 1 again. And it looks like I'm a noob that's just jumped onto the game for the first time. Unless, of course, I have the different emblems and things like that, but it's not the same, man. It really isn't. So unless there is a career rank in the service record that I'm not aware of, It would suck to not be able to show off how much I or anyone in the community have played this game and how much we enjoy it. But also, this is the bullshit of turning this game into a live service. You just get rid of features which you don't really need to for the sake of it being a live service. And then, how can we forget? With the live service comes additional bollocks that no one likes at all. Now, this isn't shitting on Overwatch as a game, it's just shitting on the overall model of being a live service. Now, let's get into a couple of them. Heroes being locked behind battle passes. It's an absolute joke that this is the case, but everyone could see it coming. With this game being free to play and it going into a live service, it gives you that worry going into it, that I can rather spend an easy $10 to get this hero in order to play competitive or whatever it might be, or I can grind 50 hours to get it and, you know, waste my time doing that. It's just time savers and live service go hand in hand, and this is a great example of a game that's going to have these as well. But of course, not only this, with there being an in-game currency as well, there's also going to be the likes of weapon charms, sprays, emotes, and probably weapon skins and even character skins in the store and stuff like that you can purchase for yourselves and your characters too. The one thing I loved about Overwatch 1 is that you didn't have any of this bullshit. This was my concern with this game moving into a live service. Yes, it's free. Don't play it if you don't want to. Don't spend a dime if you don't want to. But the fact that a lot of these time savers are here, and if some of these heroes not having them prevents you from going into the likes of a competitive game, and it does mean you've got to grind ages for it, whereas your friends have just went and all brought it, it pressurizes you to do the same, and that should never be the case in a video game. But the likes of Fortnite, if the live service is done right, it's a huge success. So I do hope that Overwatch and Activision Blizzard look at Fortnite and try to follow that, and especially with this PvE mode coming with additional updates and story progressions to that as well. I'm very excited for that. But I just hope they don't go down the same path as Halo Infinite, because that game did not do very well and is not doing very well with its live service. So I hope they've seen that. But anyway, let's list a couple of features and changes from Overwatch 2. The good, the bad, the delays, and the retired features. So of course, they've added loads of additional voice lines and sound effects upgrades as well. They've revamped combat sound designs for all heroes. They've updated skins and VFX and animations as well. Along with this too, there's an absolute heap of different features in the back end as well. A couple of them are as follows. Accessibility features have been added to the game too on all consoles and platforms. The Battle Pass starting with Season 1, updated competitive mode, cross progression, which is a huge one. I really like this feature. First time user experience, the new 5v5 core mode format, not a fan of that at all. The new challenge system, which works quite well. The new cosmetic types, so charms, name cards, souvenirs, titles, new skin tiers, basically a microtransaction haven. New history tab in profile, including game reports, new in-game currency, Overwatch coins, again, microtransaction haven. The new push core game mode, ping system, shop 2.0, and then 6 new maps. New Queen Street, Circuit Royale, Midtown, Colosseo, Esperanza, Parisio, and many existing maps received new daytime and night variants as well to make them seem a bit more varied. And finally, the updated endorsement system to give players XP or additional XP boosts when they're in games. Additional things such as the workshop creation and editing will not be there at launch, but this is like a mode where you can script and create your own game modes, and it just adds that additional level of customization and replayability to Overwatch 2. So I'm excited to give that a go when it does come out and play some of the community driven and created modes. Also, retired features such as loot boxes have been removed, which was a massive part of Overwatch 1, and I'm so glad they've been removed in Overwatch 2, but they've been replaced by a load of other crap. Player level has been completely retired in return for a battle pass level. I hate that. Really hate it, but it is what it is. And assault maps have been removed from the rotation in all playlists, but can still be found in custom games. With the insane launch of Overwatch 1 and what that had back in 2016, it's only fair and only makes sense that Overwatch 2 had a similar launch, with it being the supposed sequel. And boy has it. In the last 48 hours, Overwatch has had over 10 million players, around 5 million Twitch stream viewers, and it's had no less than 150,000 players at any given time of the day. This game has absolutely blew up because of its free-to-play model, how fun and addicting the game is, and ultimately, it's a sequel of a hugely successful game, and that is one of the reasons why this game is branded as a sequel. Not that we agree with it, but this is why. The success shows. But what's my final verdict? Overwatch 2 is a really fun game. I really like the first one, so I really like this one. I love the game in general, but don't agree with it being branded as a sequel. This game is a better version in terms of gameplay, sound design and graphics than the first one, and it's free compared to the first one, so it's really an all-round better version. I absolutely hate live service games that do things just for money and greed, and I really hope that Activision Blizzard, it's Activision Blizzard unfortunately, but I really hope they don't fall into that trap with Overwatch 2. I don't like it when games scrap conventional level progression systems for Battle Pass ranks. Halo Infinite did this and it just really didn't feel very rewarding when ranking up. Keep them separate, that would have been way better. And I'm super excited for this PvE campaign mode that's coming in 2023 and all of the future of the content updates coming for this game. I dread the day when this game gets a shitload of store things coming through, microtransactions and stuff like this, because you can literally sell anything on Overwatch. Like, there's so many different skins and nameplates and things that you can buy with your Overwatch currency and whatever it is. I hope they don't get too greedy with it. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, everyone. That's going to be it for today. Again, just a little review of what I've played so far. I've really enjoyed it, to be honest, and I'm excited to see what the future holds, especially with that PvE mode coming in 2023. So if you guys are interested in seeing what that's all about and want some story and lore breakdowns, then this is the channel to subscribe to. So without further ado, we'll see you all in the next one.